All right, welcome back to day 6 of your AZ-900 Fast Track. Today, we are diving deep into two of the absolute heaviest hitters on the exam, cost optimization and security. You're going to want to pay close attention to this one. Let's get into it.
So look, our mission today is simple. I'm going to give you the core facts you need to absolutely dominate the Azure cost and security questions. We're cutting out all the fluff, all the noise. This is just the critical stuff that's going to show up on your exam, so you can walk in there feeling ready to pass. First up, let's talk about winning on Azure costs. You know, knowing how to manage spending isn't just a great real-world skill for a cloud architect. It's a massive part of the AZ-900 exam. So that leads to the big question, right? How do you actually control your spending in Azure? Well, it all boils down to a few key factors that drive your monthly bill. Let's break them down. Think of this table as your ultimate cheat sheet for costs. Seriously, every single row here is a potential exam question. We're going to focus on the ones that pop up the most, starting with one of the biggest money savers in the entire Azure ecosystem. Let's talk about reserved instances. The whole idea is incredibly simple. You tell Microsoft, hey, I promise to use this virtual machine for the next 1 or maybe 3 years. And in return for that commitment, they give you a huge discount. The main thing to burn into your memory is this: commitment equals major savings. And here it is, our first exam alert. I guarantee the exam will try to trip you up on this. Just remember this one simple rule. If a question describes a workload that is stable, predictable, and running for a long time, the answer is always reserved instances. If it's unpredictable, short-term, or just for testing, you stick with pay-as-you-go. Okay, time to put that to the test. Imagine you see this on the exam. Your company needs production VMs, they'll be running for the next 3 years, and their usage is super predictable. How do you get the absolute maximum savings? Think about it for a second. The answer is, of course, reserved instances. And why? Because the question practically screams long-term and predictable at you. This is a textbook example of a question you might see, and now you know exactly how to nail it. All right, next exam alert. You will 100% be tested on the difference between PAS and IaaS. So here's the deal. PAS, like an app service, is cheaper and way less work because Azure handles all the back-end stuff. It's like renting a fully furnished apartment. IaaS, on the other hand, like a virtual machine, gives you total control, but you pay for it, both in cash and in management headaches. That's like leasing an empty piece of land and having to build the house yourself. So, with that in mind, check out this scenario. You've got a simple web app running on a VM. The team is sick of the cost, they're sick of all the patching and maintenance. What's the move here? You migrate it straight over to Azure App Service. It's the perfect answer because it solves both problems mentioned in the question. It lowers the cost and it reduces all that management effort. See how that works? Okay, another massive cost topic on the exam is storage tiers. The easiest way to think about it is this. The hot tier is like your kitchen counter. It's expensive real estate, but everything is right there ready to grab. The cool and archive tiers, that's like a box you store in the attic. It's super cheap to keep stuff there, but it's going to take you a little while to get it when you need it. So, keeping that kitchen counter and attic analogy in mind, what would you do here? You've got 10 terabytes of backup data, you almost never touch it, but you're legally required to keep it. How are you going to slash that storage bill? Exactly. You get it off the expensive kitchen counter and put it in the cheap attic. You move that data from the hot tier down to the cool or even the archive tier. This is one of the most direct and effective ways to save a ton of money on Azure. All right, we have totally nailed costs. Let's switch gears to the other monster topic for today, your essential security toolkit. Knowing exactly which tool to grab for which job is absolutely key on this exam. Security in Azure really starts with identity, and it's all about layers. First, you've got Microsoft Entry ID. That's authentication. It asks, who are you? Then you add multi-factor authentication for verification. It says, okay, prove it again. And finally, you have conditional access, which handles authorization. It asks, now, based on where you are and what you're doing, what are you allowed to do? And this brings us to another huge exam alert. You will almost certainly get a question on the difference between MFA and conditional access. Just remember this. MFA is a blanket rule. It applies to everyone, every single time. Conditional access is all about if-then logic. If a user is signing in from a weird location, then block them. It's all about context. Let's see that in action. A user's password gets stolen. The bad guy tries to log in, but fails because they don't have the user's phone. What specific feature just saved the day? Yup, that's multi-factor authentication, or MFA. It's the classic combination of something you know, your password, plus something you have, your phone. That second factor is exactly what stopped the attacker cold.
One more exam alert for security, knowing the difference between Defender for Cloud and Azure Key Vault. The key here is scope. Think of Defender for Cloud as your big picture security system. It's the guard patrolling your entire property, looking for vulnerabilities. Key Vault, on the other hand, is a specialist. It's like a high-tech safe with one job and one job only, to protect your application secrets, like passwords and API keys.
So, with that in mind, if a security team says they need a single dashboard, that single pane of glass, to see all the security problems across their entire organization, which tool are they going to reach for? That is the perfect job for Microsoft Defender for Cloud. Its entire reason for existing is to give you that bird's eye view, that continuous security checkup, and tell you exactly what you need to fix. Okay, that was a ton of information, I know. So let's lock it all in right now with a rapid-fire review of the absolute must-know facts for exam day. Let's do this. Predictable workloads? Use reserved instances. Want to cut management costs? Choose past over IaaS. Got data you rarely touch? Use Cool or archive storage. Remember, Entra ID is your identity, MFA is your second check, and conditional access is all about the rules. Defender for Cloud gives you security recommendations, and Key Vault locks down your secrets. Got it? And that's a wrap for day 6. You now have the core concepts you need for 2 of the biggest domains on the entire exam. So I'll leave you with this to think about. Now that you know all these tools, which cost-saving method would you use first on a brand new project? Let that sink in, and I'll see you for day 7.